Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Yo, what's up? Happy Wednesday to everybody. Got the holiday tomorrow, July 4th. Hope everyone had a nice Tuesday night. I did, man. It's 4-2. Really nice Tuesday. And I thought, man, that Diamondbacks game at the end of the night was a roller coaster. I thought we won. Then we thought we lost. Toast, I've been trying to tell you to take these +1.5, so you don't want to.
Oh my God, you finally got one. You finally got one.
I've been getting them all.
No, you literally made the comment 2 days ago, like, oh, I can't even remember what team it was. I was really hoping this team didn't win outright so I could cash my 1.5 so I could tell Toast he sucks. Didn't work.
I didn't say that.
Didn't work.
So, yeah, I had a good night. But again, a Toast went off yesterday. So, yeah, you won like 6-2 yesterday also. By the way, if you guys, we have Greg here. I'm sure a lot of you already know who he is. He's on with Odd Shopper and Stochastic with Lindy. So I'm sure a lot of you guys already know him. But Greg is joining us for Wednesday. We got 15 games to get to, so let's go ahead and get started. Chicago on the road in Cleveland. I passed on this one. Gavin Williams was cool last year, and I'm not even opposed to backing him in his first start back. The problem is there's a couple moving pieces here that I really don't like. Number one, Chicago all of a sudden showing signs of life offensively. They had gotten to a couple righty starters in that Colorado series. The bats were active last night as well. So even though I like Gavin Williams and I've read some really good things about him, I don't know if I really want to step in front of this White Sox lineup at -190 right now, especially when I was talking about it yesterday that the Cleveland bats might be entering a slump. And, you know, you look at the score, they scored 7 runs yesterday, and you might be like, oh, that was wrong then. I don't know. Because they only scored 3 earned runs off Flexen. He made it 6 innings. They only had 7 base runners in 6 innings at home off Flexen. So I'm not really sure how I feel about the Cleveland bats. So I guess if you put a gun to my head, actually someone asked me to stop using that phrase, by the way. Someone commented, can you stop saying if you put a gun to my head, it gives me anxiety? Someone commented that yesterday. So if you threaten me, or if you tie me to the train tracks and force me to make a bet on this game, I'd go White Sox +1.5.
Yeah, I would be White Sox or pass myself. I kind of the same situation. I do think the White Sox, even though that Fetty didn't look good his last time out, that was against the Dodgers. But Eric Fetty, his last 4 road starts, Detroit, Arizona, Seattle, all 6 or 7 innings, 2 runs or less. He had a little bit of trouble against Milwaukee. A lot of people do. Didn't look great against the Cubs. And I say that 5 innings, 3 runs isn't terrible. But when you can take into consideration how bad the Cubs stink, that's a terrible start for me in my head. So I do think that White Sox have a little bit of an advantage as far as starting pitcher wise. I don't really want to deal with them though, especially at this price. Not to mention the fact Kopech has worked 2 of the last 3 days. Brebbia worked 2 of the last 3 days as well. Just not a situation I want to get in. Maybe if they had a full bullpen rested ready, maybe. But even with Kopech's struggles recently, it's just really hard. So it'd be White Sox or pass. There's no way I get to Cleveland here, but I didn't bet it myself.
Greg, anything for this one?
Gun to my head? No, the answer is no. But gun to my head, it would be Gavin Williams over 4.5 strikeouts. So Gavin Williams was one of the top pitching prospects in baseball heading into last year. He was injured to start this season. So we haven't really seen him at all in the big league level. He's made a handful of minor league rehab starts. And he has actually pitched a good amount of pitches in some of those. So his last rehab start, we got 82 pitches out of him. So if you look at his innings pitch, it's like 4 or 5 innings. He's been stretched out in terms of pitches. He just hasn't gone all that deep. So I believe in the talent. It's a really good matchup. But with it being the first start back, you just don't know how cautious they're going to be with him, which kind of has me off it in general. But if it had to be one thing, I do think that over 4.5 strikeouts for Gavin Williams, if you were really confident in the pitch count, him working deep, you could ladder that because you could get really long odds on like the 6+ strikeouts or 7+, but I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I remember betting on Gavin Williams a few times last year. He definitely was impressive. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Who knows how long he'll even pitch into the game. Too much of a wild card there. Let's move on to game number 2, which is Boston on the road in Miami, and I bet this one. If you watch the YouTube video I uploaded last night, you already know what I'm on in this one. I'm on Marlins team total over 3.5. Last night I got it -105. So we were talking about this yesterday. I I want to be careful the way I phrase this because by no means I don't want this to be mistaken into me saying I think the Marlins have a good lineup or anything like that. But if you look at the game logs of righty starters that have pitched against the Marlins, they've definitely drawn a little bit of a bad card here, I guess you could phrase it. They've, in the last 8 righty starters to pitch against the Marlins, 5 of them are top 10 righty starters in the league. I mean, you name an elite righty starter in baseball, and in the last 11 games, they've pitched against the Marlins. So I think their numbers are I've been waiting for an opportunity to buy low on the Marlins bats. I have played the Marlins sporadically recently. I've actually won the last 2 bets I placed in the Marlins. So I feel like I've been seeing the team somewhat well, I guess you could say. And here we are against Bayo. In fact, I'm looking at this, and I think this team total is a little bit suspiciously low because Bayo's been getting crushed. He looks terrible, and it's not just he got hit up by some good lineups, but also he got hit up by a couple. I think he got hit up by Detroit, the White Sox. So I mean, he got hit up by a couple bad lineups. 3.5 at -105. Definitely, I'm on the Marlins team total over. I already bet it.
I have the same bet, so I won't go into too much detail, but just to give you guys context, I know we touched on it yesterday a little bit. The righty starters they've seen, speaking of the Marlins, Cutter Crawford, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Brady Singer, Seth Lugo, Bobby Miller, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Sonny Gray, all of those since June 17th, I think it was. It's like the who's who of right-handed pitching. So I'm on the same bet as Sauce. I can't really add more.
Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, we've got a correlated bet here because I like over 8 as the overall total for the game. A lot of books are hanging this at 8.5. FanDuel, at least at the start of the show, unless it's changed in the last few minutes, they had it at 8, where just about every other book is 8.5. And I'm assuming most of the people that are watching this show are most likely to have FanDuel and any other sports book anyway. It's going to be over 8 runs. Neither of these pitchers are ones that I'm particularly high on. I was a couple of years ago on both of them, but they've both been just total trash. Brian Bayo, 5.55 ERA, 4.38 expected ERA. And then as far as Rogers goes, he was also one of the top pitching prospects a few years ago. He was great coming into the league. There's a couple of concerns here. Beyond just the poor performance this year, 4.87 ERA, 5.18 expected ERA. If you guys have looked at his velocity numbers, they have dipped every single year that he's been in the big leagues, and significantly so. His rookie year, 94.6 average miles per hour on the fastball. Last year was 93.4. This year, it's all the way down to 92.3. So I don't know if he's nursing an underlying injury that hasn't been diagnosed, but there's something wrong here, and it shows up in the fact that he gives up a lot of runs and he just sucks. So over 8 runs, that's my play here.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because he was there was a 2-month stretch where Bayo was like the best starter in baseball last year, and the drop off is definitely substantial. But yeah, all right, so we're all leaning the same way there. Let's move on to the next one. Cardinals, Pirates, and man, I want to bet this one so bad.
What do you want to bet?
I want to bet the Pirates so bad here.
Dude, same thing.
I won't do it. I
didn't either. But yeah, I asked in the Discord. I was hoping like VSiN splits and a couple other splits would have some money on the Cardinals.
No, it's not. It's the other way around.
I know. So that's why it's in a pass, but go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, if yesterday didn't happen, I'd be in on Pirates money line here. I think on paper, Jared Jones should throw a great game against the Cardinals. He's a strikeout guy. The Cardinals have struggled with righties with a strikeout rate above 24%. Overall, the Cardinals bats seem to be trending in the wrong direction the last 7 days. It's a bottom 5 lineup. Again, if yesterday didn't happen, this is the scenario I'm painting. If yesterday didn't happen. So I think Jared Jones should deal. Jared Jones has been good at home. In his last 6 home starts, he's got a 2.19 ERA and a 1.08 whip. So I like Jared Jones at home. I like his strikeout stuff. I'm down to fade the Cardinals lineup. Michaelis is in a tailspin, right? Michaelis, and I have it right here. Michaelis, last 2 starts, ERA over 11. I mean, we're talking about one. So it's just 2 bad starts for Michaelis. But the starts are home against Cincinnati, home against San Francisco. The Giants hit him up. The Giants are terrible against righties. So there's just a lot of aspects I like here for a Pirates bet. The reason I haven't pulled the trigger on this is I thought Mitch Keller should deal yesterday. I didn't actually bet it, but I was like, guys, I really like the Pirates' first 5 run line. I'm considering it. I really liked it. I thought it was a great angle. Wasn't even close. He got crushed yesterday. So if this Cardinals lineup is actually about to do this and start, I don't want to be on the other side. So it's Pirates money line for me, but I don't think I have the backbone to pull the trigger on it personally.
Greg, do you have anything? Because I'm leaning the same way. I had Pirates or under. Because the only thing I want to add to the under is that Michaelis, his last 2 starts, both at home, been really bad. But his last 3 road starts, 2.95 ERA, 0.82 WHIP, a FIP under 350. He's been pretty decent on the road. So, but yeah, I'd lean Pirates and under 8. But like I said, I didn't play it.
Yeah, if I'm going to bet the Pirates side, which would be my preferred side, give me the first 5 innings where we don't have to worry about the bullpens or anything like that. Michaelis is definitely the lesser starter of the 2 in this game, in my opinion. And then also Miles Michaelis is somebody who I think probably is going to be even worse going forward. 35 years old, definitely on the decline. There's been like a significant velocity drop off, but not a pitcher I believe in. 5.32 ERA this year, 4.12 expected ERA. He misses 0 bats. That's also always going to be a concern. There's a limited ceiling for a pitcher who's very regular, like 15, 16% strikeout rate guy. So Pirates first 5 innings, if there was a gun to my head, but there isn't, so I don't have to pick one side.
Something to keep in mind here, and this is what I'm going to be looking for in this one. So the Cardinals have used Helsley and Romero, but they're available. They're available tonight. But if the Cardinals win a close enough game where they're forced to use those 2 arms, they won't be available tomorrow. And the Pirates have Martin Perez on the mound. Everyone's going to be trying to fade him, but the Cardinals haven't been hitting lefties. So if the Cardinals win a close game where they're forced to use their high leverage arms, I will definitely be taking the Pirates money line tomorrow on July 4th. Again, Cardinals against a lefty with no bullpen. I think that'd be a great bet.
So I want to see Jojo Romero and Ryan Fernandez used tonight for St. Louis.
And Helsley.
Yeah, Helsley, sure, but Helsley, I don't worry about him because he's the closer. But
they'll only pitch if they're winning, right.
So if you can give me Ryan Hernandez, who's been like their best middle reliever, and then their setup guy, both out, I'm really going to be on those Pirates.
Yeah. So I think the Pirates tomorrow, depending on what happens tonight, could be a cool bet. But if the Pirates wins tonight and the Cardinals are able to rest those high leverage arms, it kind of doesn't really apply. So Grimace is up next. Greg, are you a Grimace believer or are you a denier?
I believe he exists. I've seen evidence of it. Does he impact baseball games? It's up for debate.
Yeah, we could talk all day about whether or not Grimace is real. Yeah, I mean, I'll go first in this one because you guys know what I'm betting. But it's not just if you guys have been watching, I haven't been blindly betting the Mets like that. I have taken the Mets here and there. Toast has been taking the Mets team total over blindly because shit, how can you not? But I said yesterday before last night's game, I said, whatever team tonight uses their high leverage bullpen arms, I'm taking the other team tomorrow. Because last night's game, both the Mets and the Nationals were in bullpen crisis. And you would think the Mets won the game, so they would be the one that used their high leverage arms, but it's actually the opposite. The Nats went all in for that game. They got outmanaged. Yeah. The Nats used Harvey, Finnegan, and Floro. They used their 3 main guys, and they used Garcia, that other guy they like.
I was going to say Garcia's huge too, yeah.
Right. And all 4 of those arms have now pitched back-to-back nights, and 3 of the last 4. If you go all in like that, you better win that game. The Nets went all in to win last night's game, didn't get it. The Mets got the win and rested Garrett and Ottavino. They didn't use Ottavino either. Not that Ottavino's even... I thought it was Diekman. No, I was going to say Diekman. What? So the Mets actually got the win while being able to rest their high leverage arms. I got this at minus 124 on FanDuel last night. So this has moved a mile, but something that worries me now that we're at minus 146, I still think the Mets win this game. The Nets bullpen is cooked, but we do have to take note that the Mets just saw back-to-back lefty starters. DJ Hers and Mackenzie Gore both gave them problems. Here they are, another lefty starter. Mitchell Parker's been pretty good this year. I don't think it's crazy to say that Mitchell Parker throws a good game, but the state of the Nationals bullpen in the late innings, no way I could take Washington here. I'm on the Mets. I got great closing line value. We'll see. Grimace lives.
Yeah. Mets team total.
Mets team total over.
Yeah, Mets team total over 4.5. It's pretty simple. Not to mention the fact that, yes, they did see back-to-back lefties, but at the same time,
they struggle too. They struggle too.
Yeah, but it's at the same time though, like I like the fact that they're seeing yet another lefty. I do think that kind of plays into their advantage. So if he pitches well, so be it. But I do think seeing a third lefty and what is it, second or third one in a row, or three out of
3
4?
days.
They saw Framber. They just saw Framber too, right?
Yeah.
So they've seen a lot of lefties in the last week or so. So yeah, it's regardless. I'm going to be playing Mets team total until I lose anyway. So,
Right.
I'm kind of interested in Christian Scott plus money over 4.5 strikeouts. I just wish we had a more definitive report on what his pitch count was going to look like. We haven't seen him pitch in the big leagues for a little bit. His last minor league start wasn't even all that recently. It was June 25th, and they've really spaced out his minor league starts as well. So his last one was June 25th. His one before that was June 18th. Before that, June 12th. So they've only been pitching him like once a week down in the minor leagues. And also his last time out, 4 innings, before that 4 1/3. So 4.5 strikeouts at plus money. I think that's a good number if we definitively hear that he's like 85 to 90 pitches, but nothing I want to pull the trigger on until we actually get that info.
Yeah, and to make an argument for Christian Scott, the last 4 righty starters to pitch against the Nats combined for over 28 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. So they have not been getting to righty starters. I don't have their strikeout numbers on my sheet, but I know that the Nats have really been struggling with righty starters, lefty starters too. I mean, shit, it's the Nats. So yeah, Mets up. What we got next? Reds, Yankees. Does someone else want to go first on this one? Because I don't have the bet. Greg, you have anything for this one?
I don't. Did you have a bet on the Yankees yesterday or something?
No. My lean was over a pass, and it actually would have hit. I didn't bet it. I'm leaning towards Yankees minus 1.5 here, and I don't like it. So I'm hoping. Okay, Toast has a bet then.
Reds first 5 team total over 1.5. Reds team total over 3.5. Playing them both half unit on each. Same thing as yesterday. Look, I'm just not in a spot where I think that Rondon can be trusted over 3 straight starts in a row that we've seen him look, very, very vulnerable. And again, like I said yesterday, I think this Cincinnati speed can give this team some offense or give this team the Yankees some struggles. And if they continue to get on base, I think they're going to be fine. The Reds versus left-handed pitching the last couple of weeks, a top 10 offense. Over the last 30 days, they're like down to 15th. So Carlos Rendon, his last 3 home starts, his ERA is like 6.32. It's been really, really bad for them. So not to mention the last couple of lefty starters the Reds have seen. Bailey Falter, they got him, but they showed him Imanaga, Justin Steele twice. They've seen some high quality lefties as well. So I just think that, like I said, the Reds up in Yankee Stadium. We saw Ellie hit a home run last night. That was awesome. I just think that you get a little bit of pep in your step when you're a team like the Reds playing in Yankee Stadium. So I have no issues playing with the Reds team total here tonight. I think this is another great opportunity for the Reds to score runs.
I think the Yankees are going to win comfortably. Here's the thing. I don't really have...
Why?
I know. That's why I didn't want to talk, because I don't really have any decent logic behind it. There's a lot.
And that's Beavers chirping in your ear about Andrew Abbott somehow.
No, he didn't say anything about this. What comes to mind is Abbott on the road in Yankee Stadium. He's still a kid, man. I think the Yankees are going to crush Abbott.
Really?
So, that doesn't really...
I still win.
I think they're going to crush Abbott. And look, Carlos Rodon has looked terrible in 3 straight starts, but do we think that's who he is now? Like, you don't think he's going to bounce back home against the Reds? The Reds haven't seen a ton of left-handed pitching. And I don't know if I'm willing to sit here and say, look, I'm looking at the game logs, lefty starters against the Reds, and I don't see any evidence here that they can hit lefties. They got Bailey Falter, but they had just seen him 6 days before that. That's an unfair advantage. Before that, Bailey Falter, the first time, pitched great. Justin Steele blanked this team. Imanaga. They got the Ty Black, but we're all the way back at June 4th. They haven't seen a ton of left-handed pitching. And Carlos Rodon is going to bounce back at some point. I don't know. It would be Yankees minus 1.5 for pass, but I don't have a ton of good reasoning behind it, so I didn't actually bet it. But there's a lot of quote-unquote, I got a feeling involved in this pick here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So Yankees minus 1.5 for pass for me. Greg, you said you passed on this one as well, right?
Yeah, although I'm trying to look up right now, what is the first 5 innings total in this game? Because you brought up, Kyle, like, do we think Rodon is actually this guy? Yeah, I think he just might not be particularly good at this point in his career. It goes back to last year. He was terrible last season.
It's 4.5.
Yeah, 4.5. I think that's playable. Carlos Rodon really, really sucked last year. And even earlier in the year, when his numbers were pretty good, it was something Eric and I talked about on our DFS show a lot. while he was maintaining a low ERA, his underlying stats were not good. He wasn't generating a lot of swing and misses. He had an exceptionally low BABIP, and that looked like it was going to regress. So now he has the 4.42 ERA, but it's really just in line with his underlying stats. He's a 4.62 expected ERA, a 4.54 FIP. I just kind of think this is who he is. He's like a back-end starter at this point in his career.
Yeah, I think he had 2 good years, a year in Chicago where nobody thought he had to do anything, and he pitched well, and then he pitched well in San Francisco, and he's never going to be that guy again. I truly believe that.
Man, he was a beast that last year.
The
Spider Tech year, he was.
Absolutely, yeah.
Spider Tech Rodon's like a 98 overall in the show. All right, let's move on to the next game. You were hating on him hard when he got caught as one of the Spider Tech guys, Toast.
Yeah,
you were hating on. I remember there was like a 3-week span where you were hating everybody that was on the Spider Tech list.
Oh, yeah.
Good times. Simpler times.
Yeah, simpler times, yeah.
Houston on the road in Toronto. I bet this one, as soon as I saw it, as soon as the game ended, the only thing I was worried about was the Houston bullpen usage, because they had some issues last night, and I was going to stay off this if the Astros were forced to use some of their high leverage arms, but they weren't. So the bullpen got a rest. Kikuchi not only has been bad, but the Astros have been getting to lefty starters. Kikuchi struggles against righty bats. The Astros, one of the more righty-heavy lineups in baseball. The Astros has also been hitting on the road in the last 30 days, which is something that they weren't doing earlier in the season. I think I like this handicap a lot for Houston. I think all signs point to the Astros putting up runs on Kikuchi, and I like the matchup for Blanco too. I'm kind of calling bullshit on the recent surge of offense from Toronto. They do have some decent looking numbers, but if you actually look at the game logs, they got to like a couple bad starters in there that are kind of skewing them. As a whole, I think Blanco should deal here. This is Houston all the way for me. I got it at minus 105, so I guess I got a little. I thought it would be moving towards Houston, and now our graphic says minus 113. So I guess it is finally starting to move a little bit. I'm seeing minus 111 consensus. So not moving like I thought it would. So maybe I'm not seeing this quite as clearly as I thought. But yeah, I'm in on Houston. Bet it right away as soon as the game ended last night.
Greg, I have the same bet as him, but Greg, I just hate always going first and not giving you a chance to talk. So if you have something.
No, it's cool. Actually, I like the Astros too. So you say Kikuchi started the year off really, really pitching well. It looked like he was somebody who's going to have kind of like an all-star caliber type season. And then Kai really hit the nail on the head. That has not been the case over the last month or so. In the month of June, 6.26 ERA. The underlying numbers also were not very good in June. He had a 5.03 FIP. He is generating strikeouts, but that's kind of the only way he's getting outs right now. Hard contact, that's been an issue for him. Home runs have been an issue. And the Astros also are a team that I think is generally a little bit undervalued by the market right now. Everybody was obviously really high on this team coming into the year. It's the same core of an Astros team that's been one of the best teams in baseball for years now. And they were so bad to start the year that a lot of people kind of fell off the bandwagon. But now that they've been healthy, they're just as good as they were a couple years ago. I think this team is going to make the playoffs. If you guys are looking for a futures bet as well, they're still right around pick'em odds to make the playoffs in most books. That's appealing to me. And for a lot of the same reason that today that we're liking them as well. It's just an undervalued team in general. It's close to a pick'em line. I like the Astros side.
Nice. We're all on Houston here. And by the way, guys, I don't know what's going on with the poll today. I'm seeing it on my end, but it only says 7 votes, and there's over 1,300 people watching. So for some reason, the poll isn't getting out to everyone like it normally does. I'm not sure. Is it look normal on your end, the poll? But it's working normally as far as.
So when I'm looking at the polls, there's like times I've tried to click it and just nothing happens.
Yeah, so something's going on with the polls. It's a YouTube thing. Everything looks normal on our end, so sorry about that, guys. Toast?
Yeah, can't really add much. I'm on Houston as well. The only thing I want to say is the Jays' performance yesterday was one of the luckiest things you'll ever see. 182 expected batting average on 7 runs. Like, if that's not the definition of lucky, I just don't know what is. Kikuchi also hasn't looked good recently. He also has a terrible history against Houston. 2 starts in 2022, didn't make it out of the 4th inning in either one of them. And then in 2021, he got hit up for 6 runs as well. Blanco on the road, 1 run in San Francisco, 1 run in Oakland. pitched well against Colorado and Washington as well. I would assume that I would consider those offenses kind of equal to Toronto as well. So I don't really worry about Blanco. Kyle mentioned the fact that Houston has everybody rested and available in their bullpen, while Toronto does not. They use Green, Pearson, and Richards. Their top 3 arms have both worked 2 of the last 3 days. So I'm all over Houston as well.
All right, this is a Stros program. Let's move on to the next one. Giants, Braves. Oh, I actually bet this one. I got to post this. I forgot to post this one on the site. So this is a late edition. The market disagrees with me, by the way, because I said last night I was leaning towards over. At the time, it was you could either get a plus 108 or a juice 7.5. It's now looking 7.5 across the board. So this number is getting bought down. I like the over. So I'm in disagreement with the market here. Not that scares me off it or anything. I do think it's the right bet. Trying to figure out why this total's all the way down at 7.5. I mean, I guess Jordan Hicks has decent looking numbers on the year, but if you glance at his game logs over the last month or two, this man is not pitching well by any stretch. And yeah, I know the Braves lineup. Their offensive numbers look pretty bad for sure, but Jordan Hicks really struggles against lefty bats, and the Braves have 3 dangerous lefties right at the top of the lineup. I think the Braves might score 2 runs in the first inning of this game. So Yurfee, I like this. I don't bet those, but if you're a Yurfee person, I like the Braves to score in the first inning. Like I said, if anyone can break the Braves hitting slump, it's Hicks right now. I really don't have any confidence in this guy. And then on the other side, you got Chris Sale. And look, Chris Sale's been the man. I'm not going to sit here and discredit Chris Sale, but I do question his competition a bit. Hold on. So my sheet brings up his last 7 game logs, but I actually want to bring it back a little farther than that. So I'm just going to pull it up on ESPN. Where the hell is Chris Sale? Here it is. Okay, so Chris Sale, he pitched on the road in Yankee Stadium, right? And that was like the big test. It was like finally he sees a good lineup and he blanked them. And I was like, he silenced the critics. He finally pitched against a good lineup, and he pitched well. But now when we have a little more of information, a little more data here, pitching a good game against the Yankees isn't that impressive, especially if you're a lefty. It's actually not that impressive at all. And then if you take out that start, I mean, the White Sox, the Rays, the Nationals, the Athletics, the Pirates, the Padres, Cubs, Red Sox back in early May, Seattle. I mean, this dude's had a very, very
Texas, Miami.
Yeah. I mean, this dude, I would bet that this guy has had the easiest schedule of any lefty starter in baseball. I mean, this dude has pitched against all the bad lineups. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not pitching well. But the Giants have really given lefty problems. So I think the Giants will score on Chris Sale right back. It would either be Giants, team total over, but I bet the over at 7.5 because I think there's a chance the Braves snap out of it and score some runs also.
Yeah, just really quickly, shout out Birdsong, shout out Giants, huge win last night. You got to respect that kid, man. Just all heart. He's
a BOP, bet on pitcher BOP.
You know what? It is what it is. All I know is he wins. So you can call him whatever you want to call him. But I did play San Francisco team total over 2.5 at minus 135. Are you kidding me?
No way.
Yeah, on ESPN Bet. Absolutely ridiculous.
There's no way it's at 2.5, dude.
I've already sent it out. Unless that number has changed. Tell me I'm wrong right now.
2.5.
It's right? Am I wrong?
I'm pulling it up.
Okay, because I was going to say, unless something's wrong.
Minus 135, you said. So
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Perfect. Cool. So, John, like I talked about yesterday, Lamont Wade back in the lineup. I think that's really huge for them. San Francisco bats in general over the last week or so, over the last 30 days, actually a top 10 lineup versus lefties over the last 30 days. They're a top 3 lineup. Not to mention the fact that you have also the lefties that they've seen, James Paxton, Imanaga, Steele twice, Tyler Anderson, Valdez. I mean, they're getting to all these guys. And then on top of that, the Giants versus bullpens the last 30 days, number 7 in Major League Baseball in WRC plus, OPS, WOBA. This team is just scoring runs right now. And at 2.5, I understand how good Chris Sale is, but I just feel like that number is absolutely ridiculous. So, anytime I essentially see a 2.5 team total, the chances I take it are pretty damn high. But the fact that you're giving me the Giants team that continues to make me money at 2.5, it was a pretty easy decision for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I shouldn't have been that shocked. The game total's at 7.5. And the Braves are minus 200 favorites. So, like, obviously, they don't expect the Giants to score many runs. But I guess I didn't visualize it.
I didn't either. I thought I was going to get a 3.5 juiced at plus money, and I was going to debate it, but nope.
No, 2.5. You can get minus 130 on Bet365 right now. That's crazy. Do you, Greg? You like the Giants to get the sale?
It's so the line is so wide in the game that, like, yeah, I favor the Braves side of the game, but I favor the Braves to win. I just think the line is a little bit too wide. One thing that does stand out to me, though, is I'm not a big Jordan Hicks believer. I think he's going to regress going forward. And, a lot of the metrics that people watching the show probably figured out. I like to look at a lot of the expected ERA, FIP stats. I brought it up on almost every single pitcher we've talked about so far. And Jordan Hicks is one that really has some glaring luck numbers. He does have a 3.36 ERA, but almost all of that is really due to lucky sequencing. He has a 76.6% strand rate, which you almost never see from starting pitchers. If you look at his career numbers, it's 72.2%. He's never been above 73% in a season. So once some of those hits start to get chained against him, which is going to happen, he's not going to be a guy who's just like, hey, he pitches 5 innings, he gives up 5 hits, and they're each all in individual innings. He's going to give up more runs. His over-under for earned runs today is 2.5. I like the over on that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And to even take what you said a step further, he was talking about how Jordan Hicks 3.36 ERA being a little bit of a mirage. A lot of that was in the beginning of the season too.
Yes.
Because if you look at his last 4 starts, 5 starts, his last 7 starts, his ERA is up in the 5s. So he's definitely trending in the wrong direction for sure.
And I just got a DM asking me how I can trust Hayden Burnsong and not Jordan Hicks. It's because I truly believe that I don't trust Jordan Hicks at all. I truly believe he could give up 4 or 5 runs here tonight, like very quickly. So he's just not a pitcher I trust right now. I
like them out of the bullpen a lot.
Yeah.
That's the past now. All right, what's next? I'm not talking about this freaking team. Someone else. I knew it. I said on the show yesterday, Toast.
Yeah, we all
You're
knew
taking
we were
no. I'm not. I lost the money. You're taking the blame for this because I said on the show, guys, I don't think we should.
I had already bet it. What do you want me to do?
I want you to say
I'll take
sorry.
The blame
I want
for
you
it.
to say you're sorry.
I had like 3 losses yesterday in 10 plays. I lost the Padres. I'm sorry. Still had like a 3-unit day. Everybody's still
sorry.
happy.
That's what I was looking for.
I hate you so much.
Mazer. You like Mazer?
I do not. Don't trust him at all. Still don't understand why he's pitching for us. Well, I know why he's pitching for us because of the injuries. But I do like Padres team total over 3.5, minus 140. I'm not ready to say this offense is dead after 2 bad spots, Sunday in Boston and then traveling against Nate Eovaldi. But I love picking on John Gray. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And I think that that's a very good possibility that this Padres team could get to him today. I understand that some of his numbers aren't terrible, but at the same time, he throws 3 pitches, a slider, a change, and a fastball. Padres are top 10 against all of those. Not to mention Padres versus right-handed pitching over the last 30 days, 14 days, 7 days. It doesn't matter how you look at it. They're top 5, top 3 offense overall. So I do think the Padres can score runs today. I don't trust the Padres pitching staff very much at all. So I don't want to deal with that, but I do think they can score 4 runs.
I mean, on paper, it makes sense, but after last night, no.
I mean, Nate Eovaldi showed. That's what Nate does.
No, he doesn't, though. I was fading. Nah, I don't even want to talk about it. Greg, do you like this game at all?
It's a pass for me. It's close to a pick 'em. I like the Padres overall as a team more than the Rangers, but with Tatis out, it's kind of hard for me to back them right now. Just pass for me.
Same. I have no interest in betting this. I also don't know a ton about Mazer. Or I don't even. I'm pronouncing his name wrong.
He shouldn't even
probably
be in the major leagues right now.
There you have it. Let's go to the next one. Phillies Cubs. By the way, I don't know if anyone tailed that bet. I don't want to say I jokingly gave out because I really did like it, but
a ton of people did.
A bunch of people tailed that and it almost hit. So Greg, yesterday for the Baltimore Seattle game, I was like, guys, you know what I think we should do? I think we should bet exact score. Baltimore 1-0, Seattle 1-0, because I think the final score is gonna be 1-0. It was 1-0 in the 7th and finished 2. So like actually almost hit.
How'd they score the final run?
To be honest, I don't even know.
Cedric Mullins single up the middle.
All right.
Kirby had 2 men on, and Scott Service came out to pull him, and Kirby's like, "No, let me get him." Scott Service walks out to the bullpen, and then Cedric Mullins hits an RBI single up the middle, and then they go get Kirby.
Lame.
Exactly.
That is lame. The reason I brought that up is because I think we're very well looking at another one of those super low scoring games. Total's at 7.5, and I would lean under. You could put up an under graphic for me, please, Prop Beaver. Okay, so I know that these two teams put up 10 runs last night, but did you see the starting pitchers in those games? It was Hayden Wesneski against a guy named Mercado that I've never even heard of. Now we got Zach Wheeler on the mound, possible Cy Young candidate, against Imanaga, who I think, look, I know if you just take Imanaga's starts like since May 30th or whatever, that his ERA is like 6.80 or something. I get it, but his numbers are really skewed by a couple really, really bad ones, specifically Grimace. Grimace put the hurt on this man and is skewing all of his other numbers. There's even during this stretch where he's been quote unquote cold, he still has some really nice looking starts. And look, this Phillies lineup hasn't been the same without those two guys in it, without Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. In this particular spot, though, Imanaga being a lefty, the Phillies are weirdly going to have 8 righties in the lineup for this one, which doesn't even look right, because the Phillies usually have 2 or 3 lefties right at the top of that lineup. This one feels too unpredictable to me, but if I had to place a bet, it would definitely be under. Low scoring game, 2-1 Phillies win, 2-1 Cubs win, 2-1 Cubs win.
Greg, do you got anything? Because I have a bet, but I don't like it.
Ooh, okay. So I like Phillies money line.
And the same bet as me.
All right, cool. So I kind of have
terrified.
an idea on Imanaga, what might be going on. It's something somewhat related to what's going on with Luis Gil as well. When you get some of these pitchers that first break into the big leagues and they have a lot of success in the early going, I think it could be a couple things. Number one, they could just be really good, which I still think guys like Imanaga and Gil are good pitchers, but also opposing teams have no information on them. They haven't seen the pitches before. They don't have good scouting reports. And then once you start to see these pitchers log 9, 10, 11 starts, teams are able to build up a scouting report and they're able to get a book on some of these pitchers. And one thing that does stand out when you look at Imanaga's numbers, the decline in strikeout rate over the course of the season, which I think we could attribute to teams know what pitches are coming, which they didn't know earlier in the year. And now Imanaga is not able to get some of those punch outs, which if you remember early in the season, there was, all these memes and highlights of Imanaga getting really high leverage strikeouts in big situations. And we haven't really seen all that much as of late. 21.4% strikeout rate in June. Zach Wheeler, much more established pitcher, I have more confidence in. It's not that I think Imanaga is going to be bad or anything going forward. I just think his overall numbers for the year aren't indicative of who he's going to be now that teams have had a little bit more of looks at him.
Toast, I guess you agree with that?
Yeah. I do, the line move. The reason you're asking why I don't like it, the line movement's terrifying. I bet Philly minus 125 last night. I think everybody's betting Philly, and they're minus 118 now. So just absolutely terrifying. But for me, it's just betting on Zach Wheeler, who I haven't really been betting on a ton lately. I did the Arizona start and then the Miami start. I think the Baltimore and the Miami start, the Baltimore start, you can just throw that away. You're not going to see that from Zach Wheeler very often. And then the Miami start, I think he pitched well, obviously, and then Strong came in and ruined it for him. I just have a feeling that Zach Wheeler is probably a little bit pissed off here today. And getting the Phillies at this price, I understand that in Zach Wheeler and the Phillies aren't 100% healthy with Schwarber and Harper and all those guys out of the lineup. But I didn't play the Phillies yesterday at plus money, and I've been on this, I'm going to keep on continuing to fade the Cubs thing as much as possible, and they won really easy. So I just couldn't pass up Zach Wheeler at this price. Does this line movement terrify me? Yeah. But there's just no way in hell I could pass up Zach Wheeler at this price. Here's
the thing about Imanaga, though, and it's not that I'm disagreeing with what you guys are saying, but his last 2 starts with at San Francisco, which has been a nightmare for lefties to go pitch against the Giants this year. And then before that was Grimace, and they would hit Randy Johnson for 10 runs right now. So basically what I'm saying is the last 2 starts, this is a really tough spot, especially for a lefty starter to be in. And if you take out those last 2 starts, and I don't like playing the game where if you take out this, and I get it, but if you take out the last 2 starts, he's only had 2 bad starts the entire season. I don't know. I still think Imanaga's a beast.
I agree with that, but one of those bad starts was at home against the White Sox, and then one of the good ones was at home against Pittsburgh. So it's just I think you can play that what if game with him a lot.
I get it.
In many different ways, good or bad.
I like this game to be low scoring as hell. I actually might bet that under, to be honest. I might bet that. All right, next game.
Sorry, one more thing to add about Imanaga. He actually kind of got lit up by the White Sox on June 4th. There was a really shitty scoring decision in that game where there was a hit that was ruled an error that really should have been a hit. So he gave up 5 runs in that start, was only credited with 1 earned run. It should have been 4 earned runs in that start.
But that, right. I was actually counting that as one of the bad ones, though. White Sox and Brewers, those 2 in a row were terrible.
Yeah, those are not good starts.
But other than that, I mean, I don't know. I like Imanaga. I'm a believer now. I was down on him, but I'm a believer. We'll see. Next up. What is it, Detroit? Oh, is it the Festa game? Festa?
Is it the Festa game?
I don't know who the hell this is. No bet here. If you guys want to talk, I got nothing.
It's a pass for me. I think Correa total basis is a good one because he's been hot, and especially with Royce Lewis out of the lineup. They're going to need him, and Buxton have been really, really good for them. But besides that, I got nothing. Yeah, I got nothing.
Greg, it's up to you.
Yeah, so I like the big plus money number on the Detroit Tigers. We're getting Jack Flaherty on the mound for Detroit. And then if you look on the Minnesota side, so David Festa is one of the better. Oh, sorry, what was that?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought it was Jack Flaherty.
I thought it was Kinder Montero.
Oh, it is.
Did they change pitchers?
They must have changed pitch. It was Jack Flaherty an hour and 15 minutes ago. No. They must have just changed that
yesterday.
Are you? Well, I made these graphics an hour and a half ago, and I put Flaherty. So somewhere it said Flaherty.
But anyway.
Yeah, when I looked earlier, it said Flaherty. So screw that. No interest in the big plus money number anymore. I could give you guys some information on David Festa, though. Just to
yeah, please do. I'll take that. I'll take that.
So, yeah, I'll bring something of value to the table right here. So David Festa is one of the better pitching prospects that we have overall in baseball. He's a top 100 prospect. He does have very good stuff. His average fastball velocity in his first outing this year was 95.6 miles per hour, but didn't have the best results, pitched 5 innings, gave up 5 runs. And in the minor leagues also, he didn't have the best results. We saw him make 14 AAA starts this year, 3.77 ERA, 3.93 FIP. So I do think he's a really high upside prospect. I just don't really know what it is that we're getting out of him. So yeah, when I saw Jack Flaherty was the pitcher before, I was like, well, that's a big plus money number, but apparently he's not the pitcher anymore.
Yeah, he's not in Minnesota. It says he stayed back in LA to receive another injection on his back to avoid the stint in IL, looking to have him start in Cleveland.
It definitely said Flaherty earlier today because I had Flaherty on the graphic. All right, let's move on to the next game. Are the Royals bats dead again?
I'm so mad I didn't play the Rays because you like the Rays. I like the Rays.
Well, we wouldn't even have won. The game's about to resume. Oh, wait, did it end?
No, it finished. Yeah, they won 5-1.
They said it was resuming at noon. When did it resume?
No, it resumed at midnight last night, your time.
Oh, I thought that said noon.
It's the AM PM when it comes to 12. It's very confusing. I feel you, man. It's got to change. It's confusing. We're all over the place right now, you and I.
So, okay. In that case, I skipped this game because I thought it was resuming at noon. So I didn't even know that game had resumed. But I had no interest in betting this one. Obviously, I want to fade the Royals bats, but this shit's at a pick 'em now. I don't trust Pepio for shit. And when I looked at these games last night, I didn't even know that was happening. So you know what? Let's pull up the bullpen. Let's look at it now. So it looks like the Rays used Adam and Fairbanks. They should be good though. Toast, you have a bet on this one?
No, it's razor pass. I just don't trust Pepe Le Pew, rest in peace, Beaver. But he has looked decent his last 2 starts, but 3 innings in Pittsburgh, I don't really know what to think of that. And he walked 4 guys, so it is what it is. That's not even considered a great start. But yeah, I don't really trust either one of these teams. I would need at least plus money for either one of them to take a stab. So Michael Wacha, again, nothing but consistent for the Royals. I mean, he's going to give you 5 or 6 innings of 2-run baseball. If that's good enough to get the job done, I don't know. But yeah, it'd be probably under his pass as well. What is it at 8? Yeah, under a pass, I guess.
Yeah, I don't have anything specific to this game, but just on the Royals, I think they're a pretty good bet to miss the playoffs right now. If you guys are looking for a futures bet, I bet them at plus money earlier in the week to miss the playoffs. I think that line has moved a little bit, but this is a team that going forward, I definitely don't think they have the pitching to contend. They're also very reliant on Bobby Witt Jr., who's been great, but he was playing like an MVP candidate earlier in the year. That's definitely something that's trailed off as the year's gone on. So I think this team probably is only like 20 to 30% chance to make the playoffs, and it's close to a pick 'em still at sports books.
Really quickly, do you trust James McArthur?
I don't trust anything related to this team.
Okay, good, because I don't either. And people make him seem like he's like some stud because he's their closer, and he's not.
I got nothing for this one. Milwaukee, Colorado. I got nothing for this one either. Why did I skip this one? Why did we skip this one last night? I can't remember why I skipped this one last night.
Dallas Keuchel too good?
Oh, right, because I was just because I wasn't feeling good. It was after midnight. That's why I skipped it. I've been sick the last couple of days. All right, so let's take a look at it. Toast, someone you guys want to talk because I haven't looked at this one yet.
Yeah, I played over 11 last night. I think it's at 11.5 now. I would still play it. Just one of those things where consecutive unders in Coors Field just doesn't really happen so far this year. Coors Field after an under like we saw last night, especially when the total's at 11.5. The over the next day is 12-2. So I'm just playing off of that. Colin Ray, Dakota Hudson. Colin Ray, I mean, he's been pretty damn good for the Brewers. I'll give him that. But we're starting to see some decline over his last couple starts. He also pitches a lot at home. I really don't like him on the road. His last 2 road starts at Houston and at the Padres both went 5 innings against the Padres, gave up 5 runs, went 4 1/3 against the Astros, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs, walked 4 guys. I understand that the Rockies offense isn't the same as those 2 teams, but at home, I do expect them to put up runs. And Dakota Hudson's been absolutely terrible. And I understand that Milwaukee hasn't been great on the road, but they did score 7 runs the first night. They scored 4 last night. They had the bases loaded in the top of the 9th. Both of these teams have had situations the last couple of nights where even more runs could have been scored. So I think we see a classic over Coors game here tonight.
I like it because as you were talking, I was looking at the spreadsheet too. Colin Ray, really weak splits against lefty bats. The Rockies are going to have 5 lefties in the lineup. Also, Colin Ray's main pitch is the sinker. In the last 30 days, the Rockies are second in baseball against the sinker. So I can see the Rockies getting to Colin Ray for sure.
Also, I
Brewers
forgot to
bullpen
mention.
is taxed.
Yeah, there you go. Bingo. Colorado bullpen, absolutely taxed. Not even going to get into it.
Let's
and
do
then
it. I'm betting this right now.
And then Milwaukee, McGill back-to-back nights. Brian Hudson, their setup man, went 36 pitches yesterday. Yeah, so it's just not great.
Oh, it's at 11.5 now.
I'd still play it over.
Oh, our graphics say 11.5. Why did I think it was 11?
Because I got it at 11 yesterday. That's what I said.
Oh, you're the best. You're CLV king.
CLV king.
Greg, do you agree with our over?
Well, I hope you're right because I'm going to be playing a lot of this game in DFS today, which I got absolutely cucked by yesterday. My DFS lineup's just all ruined by playing a bunch of Dallas Keuchel pitching well.
I know, dude. That was
nuts. That nonsense. So I'm going to be playing a lot of this game in DFS. That's going to be my exposure to Coors Field. No bets on it. I hope it scores a lot of runs though.
Wouldn't it make sense to play a lot of your DFS lineup in Coors Field every day?
Given that there's a Coors Field game, so it depends because it's like an ownership thing because oftentimes Coors Field, the players will be like crazy popular. So it's more like a mathematics thing for me where it's like, all right, this team is going to be 20% owned. What are their odds actually being the top scoring team? So
right,
it depends on a day-to-day basis.
And BetMGM still says processing. I'm trying to bet this over right now. I'm going to leave this and let it go, not to hold the show up. I am betting this over, though, 11.5. I'm tailing toast on that. So if you're on the site, the 3 bets I posted, I'm adding 2 more overs. There was an error processing your bet. Let me try it again. Straight bet accepted. I'm in. I'm on the over for Brewers Rockers. 11.5. Let's do it, Toast.
Yes, sir.
Next up, Angels, Oakland. No chance in hell. Thank God. I tried to warn you about this one.
We won. We still won.
No,
team total hit. We're still good.
Oh,
Doesn't
you
matter.
took the team total. That's
Doesn't
right.
matter. Nice try, brother.
So the reason, if you guys remember yesterday, I said I was leaning towards the Angels, but I didn't trust Jose Soriano making his first start coming off injury. That turned out to be a really good hesitation because it kept me off the bet, and Jose Soriano looked like shit. I'm sure he'll be back, by the way. That dude's a monster.
Yeah.
I don't think his numbers are indicative of how dominant that dude could be, Jose Soriano. But
No,
anyway,
we're gonna get some big plus prices on him. And yeah.
yeah, his next start, I might blindly play him. I shouldn't say that. Let's see what it is first. So we got Estes starting for Oakland. I think Angels are got to be the clear-cut pick here after losing. The bullpen's been even better than Oakland's, which is crazy to say because Oakland's bullpen was so much better. But if you take that advantage away, where do you like Oakland over the Angels? I mean, it would have to be the Angels, but you know what? I might even be down to get on the Angels bet here. The Angels are pass.
I think over is my play. And here's why. I don't want to play the Angels team total at 4.5 at plus money. It's just not. I like those 3.5s. If you know me, I like those 3.5s way more. Also, we're getting Davis Daniel, who looked like a Cy Young candidate against the Detroit Tigers. He went 8 innings, gave up 4 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, no walks, 82 game score. Just insane. Hard to believe that he can replicate that. I understand that Oakland is bad as well. But at the same time, Oakland is capable of scoring runs. And I just don't know if we can trust Davis Daniel to pitch another gem like he did. Joey Estes kind of hit or miss at the same time, but the Angels just saw him, and I understand we had the same situation yesterday. I forget who was starting yesterday. It's
Mitch Spence.
Mitchie Spence, yeah. And the Angels been really good at scoring off bullpens and late too as well. So I just feel like this game probably goes over. So if I had to play, I didn't play it because I couldn't get my Angels 3.5, but I would play over 8.5 if I gun to my head.
I have a bet here. It's on Joey Estes under 4.5 strikeouts. So if you do look into some of the data on what happens when pitchers go up against a team in 2 starts in a row, it doesn't have a massive impact, but it does have a impact where you typically see pitchers a little bit less effective in their second start in a row facing the same team. And then Joey Estes is just not a good strikeout pitcher, not just the big league level, but even in AAA when he pitched starts in the minors this year, he had a 20% flat strikeout rate. So he's sub 20% this year in the major leagues. It was 14.5% last year. 4.5 strikeouts. I know it's not a big number, but I think it should probably be like a 3.5 strikeout prop for Estes.
Yeah, dude. I mean, especially considering he had 8 the last time that he faced the Angels, and prior to that, 1, 2, 3, and then Seattle and Tampa. But those teams strike out like mad. So,
where do you look up? Where do you look up that data? Because we were just having that argument in the office like a week ago about where do you get data pitchers pitching against the same team twice? Is that your guys' own in-house sheets?
It's so there's a study somebody did on Fangraphs and it's just up there. I'll shoot you over the link after this.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, please do.
Because we were just having that argument.
That'd be a great read, yeah.
Because my side of the argument was I don't think the numbers are as bad as you think. That was my side of the argument. And it sounds like based on what you said, that's kind of true. Like there's an impact, but it's not as crazy of an impact as you would think.
Correct. Yeah.
Cool. Next game. Baltimore, Seattle. Tell me why I shouldn't bet the O's here, Toast. Because I want to.
I don't have a reason. I couldn't tell you not to. I'm just pissed. I'm mad that I didn't play them last night. Yeah. I don't understand how you can play Seattle and be confident in them with the way that they're hitting right now. And I understand that they're always bad, but okay. Julio Rodriguez hit 7th in the lineup yesterday, and I'm not going to get into it, but like he just looks terrible right now. He's over his toes. I mean, he looks absolutely terrible. He is not in a good place right now. And if they put him in the lineup tonight in the 3rd spot or the 2nd spot, they have him, Roto has him in the 3rd spot right now. I don't understand it. I think that, and I understand that Kramer's last couple starts haven't been good, but at the same time, and I know he's coming off of injury, but at the same time, that dude has been nothing but consistent. And if those last 2 starts were indicative of him like maybe being hurt, and now he's going to be healthy and pitching fine, like I trust him to pitch 4 or 5 innings of 1 or 2 run baseball and then hand it off to the Baltimore bullpen. And I understand that the Baltimore bullpen worked yesterday with Kimbrel and Cano, but they still got Baker and Webb to go. Cano only threw 8 pitches yesterday. I don't really worry about it. It's Baltimore pass. I did not bet this, but I just don't understand how you could get to Seattle personally.
You know what's funny is so Toast is not in the office. He can't see the graphics. So while he's talking, he's going on a rant about Julio Rodriguez being trash. And I'm looking at a graphic for the next pick that says Julio Rodriguez home run. That's why I was laughing, because he didn't know that was Greg's pick while he was talking.
No, but so I obviously agree that Julio Rodriguez isn't having a good season. He's an 82 WRC plus. More so my bet on Julio Rodriguez, you're just getting a very wide number. So I bet it earlier today, plus 750. And one of the main reasons it stood out is the number was listed at plus 750 on FanDuel. Not a single other book had it at plus 600 or longer at that point in time. So it's really just a number play. Whereas Julio Rodriguez, like if you're going to start getting numbers on him, plus 750, plus 800 to homer, we've seen in some of these spots recently. If you just play those numbers, he's eventually going to bounce back because he's too talented not to. He's 23 years old. He was one of the MVP candidates that we've had for the last couple of years. Like he made a bucket of the 10 best players in the American League. He would be amongst those guys. So I'm not going to come out and tell you guys that Julio Rodriguez has been good this year, that he's played well lately. It's not the case. It's more, I want to buy low on one of the most talented players in baseball.
That price plus 750, I'm pretty sure that's what I got Kyle Isbell at yesterday.
Yeah, at 750, I can't argue that at all. Yeah.
That was funny because I'm over there looking at the graphic for the next pick and Toast's like, this guy sucks.
I just happened to watch those at back again, and that strikeout against Racing, I'm not even going to get into it.
Toast lives in Alaska, so the Seattle's like his local team, like the local sports radio and all that. He's a frequent caller on their side.
Oh yeah.
All right, that's the last game, isn't it? Oh no, we got Arizona. Toast, man, I need to teach you a lesson about being smart, picking your spots. Because yesterday you took the Snakes money line, I split it in half, put half my money on plus 1.5, just being safe, being cautious.
Yeah.
It turns out you got bit in the ass, and I ended up being close to breaking even.
I almost did, and then Jock Peterson homered in the 9th, and I cashed that, so it all worked out, kind of. I mean, it still sucked. You did
have Jock Peterson home run.
It still sucked a lot. God, that hurt. But yeah, that hurt a lot.
Yeah, it was the Discord was like collectively. It was like someone got killed. So we got Snakes on the road in Dodger Stadium again. I kind of want to go back to the Snakes, to be honest.
You know why I do?
Why?
Because we're getting Gavin Stone at like the height of him being hyped up, a good pitcher, coming off a 9-inning performance where the best he's ever done before that is like 7 innings. I think I didn't bet the Snakes because I don't even know who's pitching for the Snakes right now.
I think it's a guy named Mena.
So
Christian Mena.
It would be Arizona team total over or pass, just because the fact you're getting Gavin Stone off of a 9-inning performance, not to mention his last 3 starts. I mean, White Sox, Rockies, Royals, Yankees, Colorado. I mean, those teams, the Yankees, sure, but are the Yankees really that strong? Well, I guess that was a month ago, so yeah. But regardless, I'm not trying to make a case that Gavin Stone isn't good, but I'm just making a case that I can see him giving up a couple runs here today. And then on top of that, the Dodgers bullpen can't be trusted, and they worked yesterday as well. Elvin Phillips, 3 of the last 4 days. Daniel Hudson went 19, Vesia 20 yesterday. So yeah, it's Snakes team total over or pass, but I didn't bet it.
So I just clicked on Christian Mena's name on RotoWire, and it pulled up his game logs from AAA. This man's getting tagged.
Not just this year either. There's been this trend lately that I do not understand, where you get these pitchers who are in AAA that are terrible. They get destroyed in AA, they get destroyed in AAA, and then all of a sudden teams just decide, hey, let's call this guy up. It's happened like 6 or 7 times this year. Mania in AAA has a 4.9 ERA, a 5.65 FIP, and that's over 16 starts. Last year in AA with the Chicago White Sox, he had a 4.66 ERA and a 4.71 FIP. And then we just don't have that much information on before that because there was all the years where, there just wasn't that much minor league baseball being played. So the only information we have on this guy is him just getting lit up in AA and AAA. And then the Diamondbacks are like, cool, you're pitching in the big leagues now, which I don't know. Like, there's just no way that there isn't somebody in their system who's been more successful than this. He's not a ranked prospect either. He's young. He's only 21 years old, but he's not a top 100 prospect. He's not even inside one of the top 10 prospects ranked on Fangraphs within the organization. So I have to pass on the game. The line is really wide, and this guy Mania appears to be terrible.
Tell me why we shouldn't take the over at 9 here. Give me the over graphic. And I didn't bet this or anything. I'm just thinking out loud. But Christian Mena is getting tagged up by the likes of, like Greg said, it's just funny to see the names in the game logs. Tacoma hit the shit out of him. Salt Lake beat his ass. Oklahoma City, Round Rock. Those are the lineups that this guy Mena is struggling against. Now he's pitching in Dodger Stadium. And like Joe said, I think it's a sell high spot on Gavin Stone. I've trusted this Arizona lineup against righty starters for about a month and a half now, and they've been good to me. So I think I might bet this too. I think I might add another over, man. 3 more over additions to my betting card here. I like this over.
We have
8.5 at ESPN bet -125. I'm in there betting it now. Just
8.5 is a pretty good number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm tailing.
I think it's that low because of Gavin Stone, but Arizona against righty starters has been pretty reliable. So let's go ahead.
Man, maybe I just want to play my Arizona. I'm gonna have to look at that.
No, because we if the Dodgers are winning, you might get the good arms of the Dodgers bullpen, which are good.
That's fine. We hit them up last night.
That's true. We as in Toast was in the dugout.
Yeah, dude, I was on deck. It's not my fault. It's not my fault the guy struck out. I was on deck.
Somebody's got to put on the Grimace suit and dance around.
Yeah, the Grimace suit was out yesterday in Washington. Tomorrow, 4th of July, Grimace, 11 a.m. But all right, let's do a community parlay. Hit the song.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We community, making a parlay, yeah.
All right, community parlay. Tell me when you're ready. Oh, they can't vote.
Oh, that's right.
Is it working?
The last one got 47 votes, so
it's
not
more than it was
really.
getting. Usually we get about 200 votes per. Let's try it. We'll try one, and then let's try one. So let me know when you're ready. Okay, so it's definitely. It looks like it's slowly coming back, but it's still not normal. I mean, because there's 1,500 people in there. That should be about 250 votes usually, because a lot of people watch on their smart TV and are unable to vote. So you ready for the poll, Prop Beaver? It's Guardians money line, Red Sox money line. Did they like our Pirates bet? Yeah, Pirates money line, and then Grimace money line. And while they were voting on the first leg, Greg, want to tell the nice people where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, so I do DFS content just about every single weekday night with Eric, who I know has also been on your show a couple of times. So him and I have been doing shows together for years now. We'll be on the Stochastic YouTube channel from 6 to 7. That's generally where we do our MLB show. So if you guys play DFS, go check that out. And then we also have our Odd Shopper channel where we've got a lot of short form betting content for pretty much every sport we cover over there. So check out Stochastic DFS YouTube channel. If you guys play DFS, if you're looking for betting content, check out Odd Shopper.
Yep. And yeah, I think Lindy's coming on every Monday moving forward. I believe. Nice. Yeah, which is cool. And what's the name of the guy that you were doing a show with when I came on as a guest? What was his name again?
It was myself and I think it was Josh. It was you, me, and Josh, right?
Josh, yeah, I think that's him. I like that guy a lot. He hasn't popped up on my Twitter though. I followed him. Why did Josh? Let me look him up.
He's on vacation right now.
Ah, the old vacation.
I am done with this Grimace. I don't know what you're talking about, Bailey.
So if the poll's not working, right? It's 26 votes, dude. All right, the community parlay is not working. I'm not sure what's going on. Everything looks fine on our end. YouTube must just be being weird today. So I guess no community parlay. Yeah, let's do the underdog pick'em. We'll do that, and then we'll call it. Did you put it on the screen? All right, let's see. Let's see what Prop Beaver gave us today. We got Usei Kikuchi, lower than 29.5 fantasy points. I like that pick. Chris Sale, lower than 45.5 fantasy points. 43.5?
45.
No, that's 43.5. Yeah, I like that pick too. And Festa, higher than 4.5 strikeouts. You're playing Festa. Why not, he says. All right, that's Prop Beaver's 3-pick pick'em. If you don't have an Underdog Fantasy account, you can get this Aaron Judge over half a plate appearance free leg. It's available in any state highlighted in this map. If you're in one of the states highlighted in yellow, head over to the website or download the app Underdog Fantasy. When you make your account, make sure you use the promo code BET, BET. That'll get you a free deposit bonus. I believe it's $100 right now. So you get a free $100 and you get to use that free leg, the Aaron Judge over half plate appearance. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Greg, thanks for joining. Tomorrow, me and Toast will be here in the morning doing the July 4th show. I don't know if I have a guest or anything. It's July 4th. It's kind of a weird day to ask people. So we'll figure it out. How about that? We'll figure it out.
Me and you will be here in the morning. We'll run through the slate like we always do. We don't need nobody
It's
else.
weird asking some people because sometimes like you ask somebody and they feel pressured to say yes. But it's like, dude, it's cool. Like it's 4th of July. You don't have
I
to.
felt pressured.
All right. Everyone, have a good night. Remember to bet responsibly. Talk